Philip Moore, head distiller from?
St Fiacre Distillery, soon to become Distillery Botanica.
Okay, well, I'm not sure whether we can cover both plugs, but we'll do that. Yep. Off Terrigal Drive.
Yes, Portsmouth Road.
And hidden, but with the rebranding soon to be better known.
Yeah.
And on a national basis as well.
Well, it's a little oasis of fragrant plants, herbs, and a distillery set in a distiller's garden.
Did we not explain this isn't an advertorial?
Yeah.
That's cool, because it surprises people, I'm sure, when they go there. It surprised me. I've been there a couple of times. It is a great place to visit. They visitors who I want can come visit the distillery, purchase. Yeah, so we might stop the the advertorial there. But let's move on. You've had a life in herbs and that sort of thing. 5 years ago, you made 6 years ago, you made the choice to moving. Were you living on the coast at that time?
Yes, I had the nursery at Warnervale.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to be in the side of the new town centre at Warnervale. So Woolworths came along and offered me a rather large lump of money. You
should go back and buy it from them. They'll probably sell it to you for a lesser amount now. You can
I'd
do
say
it again.
so, yeah. It'd be like Kerry Packer, he said you only get one Alan Bond in your life.
You only get one Woolworths. Yeah. We won't go there because... but no, that will happen. That will happen.
Yeah.
2005, you arrived, spent a little time with a favourite town or a planner, Dr. Monks, getting the process through Gosford Council. Since then, in the last 4 years, what have you seen change in what you're creating and what you're selling?
Well, basically, I decided to specialise in Australian native plants because there's been almost no work done on making alcoholic beverages from Australian native plants. So I've managed to get acceptance for those plants as alcoholic drinks. I think primarily one of the reasons for the acceptance is that every batch that I've done, the very first batch, I've entered it in an overseas competition and they've all won awards. One of them, the Aniseed Myrtle, won Herb Liqueur of the Year in Germany. It was 95 points out of 100. And my gin is the highest ever awarded Australian gin in the London Wine and Spirit Show, and that's the centre of gin, for the world. So basically, by getting these awards for Australian native plants, it's made people quite confident to drink them. Because otherwise, if you said to somebody, here, have a glass of mountain pepperberry liqueur, they'd probably be going, what is that, But when I say, well, that got a silver medal in the London Wine and Spirit Show, and it was the highest in the class, and also in the same show, Benedictine got a silver medal, they think, wow, I'm drinking something as good as Benedictine.
And you've in the last 3 years, developed an alliance or an investor relationship with someone who is capable of looking at your view or your vision and saying, yeah, we can embrace that. So funds are available there for development?
Well, it's a joint venture, so equal funds are going in. It's an advertising agency that works for a major international alcohol company. And we've decided just to select the gin because gin is coming up again. Vodka sort of put it to one side, but now gin's making a bit of a resurgence. So we've designed some beautiful packaging, which in spirits is everything. In the spirit industry, many people never drink the actual spirit neat. So you can have a very ordinary spirit, which some of the vodkas are. They've got beautiful packaging and they become top sellers in the world. So with this new packaging, plus the fact that I've got an award-winning gin to go in it, it's going to be a very, very strong combination.
What were some of the challenges you faced? Because it's not been an easy 6 years.
Well, I think the major thing is that I educated myself on how to do the whole process because there's no tertiary institutions that offer anything in distillation. So it was really buy a tiny little still and get started. So I set it up in the bathroom, and you had to make an appointment to get to the bathroom when I was distilling. And after many, many distillations, I managed to produce something that was of world quality. So then that gave me the confidence to buy larger equipment and set that up and get going.
Because it is you have the distillery there. We're fortunate to be sharing Milestone Bellanova's boardroom today, so we thank them for that. But do you do your business from the distillery? Is that your office?
It is, yeah. That's the whole. Yeah, it's everything. It's the cellar door, it's production, and it's the office. And then I also have extensive grounds with gardens in which people use for weddings and birthday parties and that sort of thing.
And some of the herbs, or do you use? You must use some of the products that you grow in the gardens in your distilling.
I do, yeah. We have quite a large planting of lemon myrtle, which is my most popular Australian plant, and that grows quite nicely in this climate, so I've selected that one. And some of the plants need either colder climates or hotter climates to grow in, so I leave them to growers in those hotter or colder climates to grow them for me.
Okay. The next 12 months, issues and opportunities that stand in a very new distiller's path, what's there?
Well, the major thing is to change the name from St. Fiacre Distillery to Distillery Botanica. St. Fiacre was the patron saint of gardeners, but very, very few people know that he is the patron saint of gardeners. So it's not saying that it's a distillery that concentrates on plants, but by changing the name to Distillery Botanica, it says it is a distillery and plants are the major things that we work with. So I think in the public's mind, that will be a great leap forward because they will know exactly what we're doing from looking at the name, and it will also be something that people can pronounce.
Is it Australian marketing or is it international marketing?
No, it's an Australian advertising company that I've got the joint venture with. Yeah, so the name change is number one, and then number two is the joint venture on the gin, and that will be, I think, really put St. Fiacre on the map, around Australia. Whereas at the moment, I'm fairly well just a local phenomenon with internet sales, to support the cellar door.
Okay, cool. Are there issues that you've discovered, because you've always been in the semi-retail or wholesale business? What surprised you about the front end, the pointy retail end?
Well, I guess something that I think is really biased against spirits is that under the current tax regime for alcohol, a standard drink of wine is taxed at 4 cents. A standard drink of spirits is taxed at 94 cents. The tax on the spirits is 23.5 times the amount of tax on the wine, which really biases sales in favour of wine, obviously. And if you look at that from the point of view, say, a bottle of my gin costs $50, the excise on that is $20.80, the GST is $4.50, the total tax take out of the $50 is $23.30. More than 50% goes to the government. So that is, I think, a reasonably unfair thing. The Henry Tax Review a couple of years ago recommended a volumetric tax on alcohol, which means all alcohol is taxed at the same rate, but it wasn't taken up by the government. Another thing in the retail side is basically the distribution. In the Western world, the spirit trade is really controlled by 4 major global companies, and they have unlimited funds for introducing new drinks or supporting new drinks or crushing the competition, which means that, and it's the same in America because I get a newsletter from the Small American Distillers Association. Over there, distribution is very difficult because they have the same thing. These 4 multinationals have just really tied up distribution. In a lot of cases, they can't even get the distribution to take them on. And the other thing too, I guess, is the concentration of retailing in just 2 hands in 2 major chain stores. It's now thought that to be over 60% of alcohol goes through 2 major stores who have premium sites. And the number of specialist wine stores or alcohol stores is shrinking, by the day. So for a boutique brand, there's a limited number of outlets, and the major players really don't want to be involved in helping a boutique brand to develop because they're really not interested in brands, because brands put the price up and they want the price to go down. So I think that the 3 major things that are the challenge are the tax regime, the globalisation of the industry, and also the concentration of power in too few hands at the retail level.
With all of that going on, those 3 challenges, plus developing new products, we sometimes talk about work-life balance. You know, you have a bed and a pillow, I would think, in your distillery. Is that how you manage the work-life balance? Or?
Well, I have a commute of 30 metres to go from the house to the distillery, so I am fairly close to the distillery. But I've never really considered the distillery to be work, because it's been constantly interesting and challenging. And when you have something challenging, it's not really work. It's just something you really want to get into and find out how to do it. So I haven't run out of challenges yet, so I haven't really considered it to be work.
It's not going to be something, your challenges aren't going to vaporise in the near future by the sound of it, Philip.
Yeah, so I guess if I've got everything worked out, and I think in a way that's what happened with my herb nursery. After a while of doing it for 20 years, I've been down every avenue I possibly could go down, and I found I was getting a little bit bored with it. So I was very pleased to sell out of that and then go into something where I could find unlimited challenges to attack again.
Local alliances, and it's not the Instaurator because he is Instaurator. Great source of coffee opportunities. What's happening there?
Well, I've been planning to do a coffee liqueur, and an Instaurator has an unlimited amount of experience in coffee.
Yes.
So
Supreme, I think, would be.
Yeah, and he's also written a book on coffee as well. So he's offered to source very good quality coffee, because everything I do has got to be top quality, and I have no idea what top quality coffee is myself. And he's also offered to guide me in the various ways. There's many ways you can extract flavour out of coffee, and so we'll be going down that track of a cooperation on how to extract the flavour from the coffee and then combine it with the alcohol in order to have a coffee liqueur that tastes like coffee. Whereas a lot of the coffee liqueurs taste like vanilla, so or they taste like rum, or they taste like molasses. So they rely on just about everything except coffee, to give them their flavour.
Indeed, and two very passionate people meeting. What excites me is that they are both Central Coast business people, and up until probably 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, hidden from one another. So we just need to get out and meet more people and talk about what we do, and alliances will appear. What separates you from other distillers? There must be other distillers, not necessarily in your specific area, but to stand out, to be desirable. What does your distillery offer?
Well, I guess it's a flow-on from the nursery, in that I always had this drive to produce the very, very best plants, and I never ever let a substandard plant out of the nursery, and I've carried that over to the distillery, in that my own personal values won't let me produce substandard products. And I think I don't do this because I really want to help the customers. It's more that I don't want to be seen to be associated with junk.
Okay.
And so the customers, as a result, get the advantage of my obsession to produce something that really reflects well on me and the business.
So it's very personal position, very personal position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also very pleased that the customers do like it, but it is more of a selfish drive than an altruistic drive.
We appreciate your honesty.
And the other thing I think that I've got lots of is perseverance. It takes a long time to develop a particular drink. My gin, for example, took 1 whole year to develop. It's a very difficult drink to make. It's a combination of many different plants. They've all got to be distilled individually and combined in order to make a pleasing drink on the palate. So I did 250 blends to get it right, and I've done a further 150 with each bottling. So I'm now up to about 400 blends of gin that I've done. So it's this. But it's perseverance, but I really enjoy doing development.
Obviously,
yeah.
And you obviously got the palate and the passion for it.
Yeah. So I think the thing that really helps me is that I must have a good quality product just for my own self-worth, and I love spending the time to develop it.
Well done. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.